Good morning, everybody. Here we go, here we go, here we go. We're gonna take it one heart at a time. Hey. I said one heart at a time. We lift each other up. Oh yeah. One heart at a time. We lift each other up. Ah, there it is. One day at a time. We lift each other up. One day at a time. We lift each other up. Oh yeah, oh, one step at a time. We lift each other up. Do you feel it? Ah yeah. One step at a time. We lift each other up. Yeah. And we go up and into the dream of how we really want to live. Come on, let's go up and into the world of our own creation. Oh, lift each other up, one vision at a time. We lift each other up, yeah. One vision at a time. We lift each other up. One thought at a time. Gonna lift each other up. Said one thought at a time. We lift each other up. Oh, let's go up and into the dream of how we really want to live. Let's go up and into the world of our own creation. Oh, one heart at a time. I want to say, well, one day at a time. Yes, sir. You know, one step at a time. It just takes a one heart at a time. Let's go. A one, two times. One, one. Come on, we're gonna do it three times now. One, one, one. All right. One, 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 one. All right, let's do some singing together. Everybody stand as you are able, and let's sing. I trust in God. So grateful, I am one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful, I trust in God. Let's do it again. I'm thankful, so grateful, I am one with the Spirit all around me. Oh, I'm thankful, so grateful, I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. Oh, I surrender, I surrender. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender, I trust in God. I feel the Spirit. All right. Here we go. I feel the Spirit moving in me. 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 Oh, I feel the joy moving in me. Oh, yeah. joy moving in me. I feel the love moving in me. I feel the love moving in me. Yes, I do. I feel the love moving in me. I feel the love moving in me. I feel the spirit. I feel the spirit moving in me. 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 Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity Church of Overland Park on this wonderful Sunday morning. A little bit of chill in the air and the sun might not be shining, but that doesn't mean spirits still can't be moving through all of us, right? I'm Reverend Eileen Stulak. I'm your Associate Minister of Operations here. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you here in the room, those of you joining us online right now or at some point down the road. And I am blessed to be with...
I'm Reverend Jen Hutchins, and I am founder of Unity Arts Ministry, and I am so grateful to be here today in service to this beautiful community. So thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. You know, we have to acknowledge and send some love and prayers and blessings out to a few people because we've got 4 ministers on this staff, and 3 of them are gone today.
It's going to be okay.
We're good. We're good. And as I was sharing with Reverend Jen just before, that very often Reverend Jackie, our senior minister, will say, you know what, we've got such depth and strength of teams throughout this ministry that it is possible for them to just go and have some vacation time. Reverend Fred is spending some time with his family. Reverend Jen Dickey was gifted with a trip down to where she had done her seminary work, or not seminary, her prep work for ministry down in Houston, Texas at Unity there, and so she's having a blast. And Reverend Jackie and her daughters are now out with her wife Tammy and her son Harry out in Colorado to spend Thanksgiving together. And so to all 3 of you, if you are watching, just know that we are holding you in our hearts and in our prayers and sending you all kinds of love this morning. And we also want to always acknowledge the incomparable Kelly Hunt, who is here as our music director and soloist today, and we got Brian Stever and Terry Swope and James Albright. Yes. And we also want to acknowledge Artemis Porch here, who is with us for the first time as our ASL access interpreter. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have some exciting news to share.
You do?
I do.
Oh, okay.
On your behalf.
Oh, okay.
You have probably been aware that Reverend Eileen was engaged with the Good Faith Network, and she has been officially elected as a member at large onto the Good Faith Network Executive Board.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Eileen.
Thank you very much. And I mean, that is something that wherever any of us go as this ministry, we take a piece of all of you with us. And so I'm excited to be on the board, executive board, and also to just get more involved with the wonderful work. And so many of you have done the same. And so thank you for that. And I look forward to working not only with all of you, but with our sister congregations throughout Johnson County. Okay. So lots of good stuff going on. So why don't we take a moment for some prayer? And while we always want to acknowledge the good, we also stay present to the challenges. And as we know, there's so much going on around this world and in our corner of it as well that we might wish to see it being different in some way, in some ways that would work for the betterment of all. And so I came upon a prayer from Reverend Richard Rohr from the Center for Action and Contemplation. That I love it because it begins with gratitude, and then it offers a space, and I will pause during this prayer to allow you to feel into your own heart's feelings and emotions today relative to all that is going on in life. And so we acknowledge Spirit's presence within us and around us. And Richard said, "Oh, great love, Thank you for living and loving in us and through us. May all that we do flow from our deep connection with you and all beings. Help us become a community that vulnerably shares each other's burdens and the weight of glory. Listen to our heart's longings for the healing of the world. And so, knowing that you are hearing us better than we are speaking, we offer this prayer in all the holy names of God. And that is a deep truth that we hold, that there is one higher power. We may call it God, but it answers to so many other wonderful and sacred names as well. And so if you would join with me in affirming one of our basic statements of spiritual truth together, the words are now before you, that there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good.
And with that knowing and that truth in our hearts and in our minds, we now bring our awareness, our energy to the prayer requests that have come in through this beautiful community this week. And this week, there have been two primary themes that have been coming forward, and that is for healing and guidance. And so we bring these thoughts of healing and guidance and any and all requests that are on your minds and hearts in this now moment, those that have been written in prayer before, those that are yet to come. We know that the truth of these words, there is only one power, one presence, and that power, that presence is the light of God. That light of God is the healing source that permeates our bodies, that infuses our minds with the guidance we seek. That light of God is that which connects us heart to heart, soul to soul, with all present, and with all whose hearts we meet along our journeys. We know this light, we affirm this light, and within this light, we know that all prayer is answered. We claim this, we know this, we speak this, we live this, we are the light. And so it is. Amen.
I'll take you there. I'll take you there. I'll take you there.
Hello. I love that intro. I'm Tony.
And I'm Ellis, and we have a few announcements for you.
If you were not with us last Sunday, we want to repeat our thank you to everyone who contributed their time, talents, and financial support to our recent Fall Faith Gala. If you were unable to attend, there's still time to make a donation toward our overall goal of $20,000. You can do so a bit later in the service, during the offering, or after the service in the cafe, or online through our website. Just be sure to note your donation as being a Fall Faith donation. And again, we thank you very much. And tomorrow evening, everyone is invited to join our Yarn Blessings group for meeting at 6 p.m. They will meet out in the cafe area, and they're an opportunity to bring whatever craft project you may be working on. Doesn't necessarily need to be yarn, just any crafts project you're going on. And join together for a time of community, connection, and creativity. Be sure to check out their table at the back of the sanctuary. Everything there is available on a love offering basis.
Please plan to join us on our Thanksgiving Eve service this coming Wednesday, November 22nd at 7 p.m. And that's going to be in a sound stage, which is straight back from these doors to the cafe. Reverend Eileen and Reverend Jen, our prayer chaplains, will facilitate the service with Reverend Fred and Joel Morrison providing the music. It will be a wonderful way to enter the holiday season. And then next Saturday, November 25th at 10:30 a.m., everyone is invited to the annual Folks Giving Potluck hosted by our Folks with Faith group. And it's here at the Plex Pod and in the cafe area. Bring a dish to share and join in celebration of friendship, fun, Thanksgiving, and doors open at 10 a.m. And now let us join together in speaking the joint vision statement of unity. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Life is shaped by who we say we come here to be, created in me. The door is open if we are willing to walk consciously, created in me. My wildest dreams come true. I see the same for you. The only moment we ever have is right now, you see, created in me. The door is open if we are willing to walk consciously, oh, created in me. Anything is possible now. Everything our mind will allow. Life is shaped by who we say we've come here to be, or created me. And anything is possible now. Everything our minds will allow. Oh, my wildest dreams come true, and I see the same for shaped by who we say we come here to be, created me.
Gotta come a little closer to y'all. Easier said than done sometimes, but oh my goodness. Oh, so the idea of offering a lesson every so often on our emotions first hit me when I was in Traverse City in November of 2016. I was serving a Unity church there, and I had scheduled a week of vacation. I traveled back to my hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to spend time with my mom and my sister, my extended family, and my time off was such that I was not in Traverse City on the Sunday following the 2016 election. And when I returned, many of the congregants were just waiting for me because they wanted to sit down with me and talk about what turned out to be a very wide variety of emotions that they were feeling relative to the outcome of the election. And it did not matter where each one stood on the full spectrum, full political spectrum, each of them was feeling emotional, very emotional in some way. And so I remember making a note in my planning files back in November of 2016 to remember not to schedule any vacation on the Sunday after the 2020 elections. And part of that note also was a reminder to offer a lesson on that Sunday that would speak to our emotions. And so November 2020 rolled around, and yes, there was another election, but there was a seemingly next level of emotions being felt by so many people, and it wasn't due only to the dynamics of a national election. I mean, my goodness, had we not been given so much more in addition to an election to help us become more deeply aware of our feelings, more deeply aware of our emotions, so much more that was asking us to ask ourselves about how to be with our emotions at new levels and how to express ourselves while remaining authentic and civil and in integrity with our true beliefs and our true values. I mean, go back in your own minds to that time. We were in the midst of a pandemic that was still not yet under some semblance of control. We had experienced significant loss of physical, in-person interactions and connections that we had likely been taking for granted without really knowing it. We were prohibited from traveling, whether it was 4 doors down to visit with neighbors, let alone leave the country. We were experiencing job losses, a damaged economy. Businesses were closing, churches were closing, and for some of those closings would become permanent. And then we had the civil and social unrest. There were peaceful protests, but there were also pockets of violence and destruction and death. And of course, there were just all the other challenges that come into our lives on a much more personal nature that aren't shared with the masses, and yet no less significant for us. And perhaps most telling it all was that through it all, we had arrived at a place where we could so clearly see how divided we were and continue to be as a people in this country. And then today, 3 years later, here we are, and we can add 2 wars to that list with Russia and Ukraine and Israel and Hamas. There's a whole lot more that we could continue to add. So suffice it to say, emotions continue running high. Integrity of people, processes, and institutions continue to be called into question, and yet, with all of that, here we are. Here we are, maybe at times feeling a bit battered and bruised, but we're still standing, we are still gathering, we are still celebrating each other, and we continue to celebrate week in, week out, day in, day out, something in our lives that is bigger than any of us, something in our lives that is bigger than anything which is before us. We are still embracing the opportunity to keep exploring new depths of who we are and how and who we wish to be. And so this morning, I'm going to try once again to just weave all of these threads that are present in our lives together into a tapestry that depicts the honoring of emotions along a pathway of authenticity and civility and integrity, and grounded in our divine selves, and then all those personal touchstones that we place upon that foundation that keep us in alignment with our core values. And so let's start with the idea of being our best. Let's start with being our best as it applies to our emotions. And so what might a measure of that be? Well, one measure could be that of determining if we are indeed legitimizing our emotions, asking ourselves if we at times delegitimize our emotions. See, we delegitimize our feelings and such when we believe that they are wrong. And we can see them as being wrong for any number of reasons. I'm just going to offer a few. We could see them as being wrong because someone has spoken the five of my least favorite words to hear. You shouldn't feel that way. We can see them as being wrong because there's, quote unquote, some social standard that says that you should be feeling a different emotion than what you are. And they can be wrong. We could see them as being wrong when we choose to embrace what we think we should feel instead of embracing how we actually feel. And all of these come down to our not being able to accept our true feelings as being legitimate. Instead, we can believe that because our true feelings don't fit into some social standard, they don't agree with, align with someone else's opinions, then there must be something wrong with us. But of course, there's nothing wrong with us. In truth, just as there is uniqueness and there are complexities in all of us, there is not one right way to feel in any circumstance. You know, some people get married and they make a conscious choice to not have children. Well, my family system had a standard that was quite the opposite. Some people, many people like myself, graduate from high school with very high GPAs and are not drawn to go to college. That's another decision that often doesn't conform or comply with high school or family or peer or social systems and standards. Some people, I have been with several people who watch a loved one die, and they are joyful because that person is free from after a very hard and painful struggle. Many would call that joy the wrong emotion. An experience I had with my former Catholic church helped wake me up to the legitimizing of my own feelings and my own emotions. In early 2001, I was really struggling with my Catholic faith. I had very serious questions on my heart, in my mind, about some of the teachings, and I was really trying to fit in. I mean, it continues to be the faith of my family for generations back. My then husband and I, we grew up together, and we went to church together, and now we were raising our sons in this tradition. And so I made an appointment with one of the priests on the staff at the church to just go to him and present what was going on with me, ask for his advice, ask for his counsel. And so I sat down and I shared with him all the questions I had. I told him all the feelings I was experiencing and the concerns I was having about those feelings. And when I was done laying it all out for him, he said, "You shouldn't feel that way." I went home and I told my husband that, really all the priest had to say to me was basically, "Don't feel that way." And his response to me was, "Then don't. I don't feel that way." Fast forward 2 weeks. I went to church. I went to Mass for whatever reason, I don't remember, but I was by myself. I just went by myself to go to church. And in the midst of a sermon being given by another priest who was on the staff there, he began to speak of the Catholic faith and its teachings as compared to other traditions of faith. And I kind of perked up at that, and I was getting a little bit excited, thinking, okay, here it comes. I'm thinking, he's going to say something, maybe, that will help me with these questions I had about Catholicism just being it, and other faith traditions. I didn't know how they could fit in. And so the next thing he said, while holding his hand flat out in front of him like this, he said, "They," referring to the other faith traditions, "are pizza." And then as he raised his hand as far as his arm would extend it, he said, "We are pizza supreme." His hand didn't come down before I stood up and walked out, and I never went back. See, that literal first step, it became the first of many steps that I would begin taking to learn how to legitimize my emotions and my feelings and how to make life choices for myself that aligned with them. Another way that we can examine and be with our true emotions is to go below the superficial level of them, to question and get in touch with our reactions to life, our responses to life. See, up until my visit with the priest and then the subsequent Sunday service and sermon, I was living my emotions at the superficial level. I was not being sincere about them. I wasn't being authentic with them. I was constantly posturing, and not just in terms of my religious faith at that time. I was posturing for ways to make my emotions fit into someone else's way of being instead of being honest with myself and being honest with the other people. I expended a lot of energy trying to be like others, think like others, feel like how others thought I should feel, which in truth was just expending a lot of energy telling myself that I didn't matter. And then that fateful day when my priest ticked me off. And he blew the lid off of everything that I had buried. It was laid bare for me, all that I was to examine, all the valid questions I had, all the real feelings that were there for me to own, to claim for myself, to honor them, and to do so at a level of authenticity and in integrity with who I really was. Now, if my former priests were here today, if they walked in that door right now, I would hit a pause button on this service. And I would seriously and sincerely thank them for telling me how I shouldn't have been feeling the way I was truly feeling at that time. And it would be a sincere thank you because it opened me to a process that, thank God, was not one and done with one priest's counsel and another priest's sermon. This process of self-examination and exploration and discernment and decisions and choices about how I want to be, who I want to be, it is never ending if I allow it to be so. So let's take a moment here, because I want to acknowledge that many of you, I know that many of you, have been having a variety of emotions and feelings as this year has unfolded. You've often been so wonderfully vulnerable and open as you share them freely, sometimes in our times of coffee and refreshments after the service, or in one-on-one conversations with me, or in the safety that I see, every time we do it. There's this wonderful way in which safety is created in our small group experiences. And sometimes the sharing has centered on how it's been hard at times for you to not react to experiences in ways that you know are not in alignment with who you are, in alignment with that true you that rests below the surface, below that more superficial level of your expression. And I think that is just such a wonderful awareness of this whole idea of honoring your feelings and your reactions as being real and being valid, while also being able to recognize the times that you may want to do some deeper inner work around them. So I encourage everyone to please continue, give yourself time as you continue to move throughout this year, time to just be with where you are and how you are feeling with all that's going on in life. And do it with that upfront awareness that there may be some triggers that will tick you off. Do it from the perspective of fearlessly examining your own reaction to your own life. Fearlessly examine them. We have legitimate fears, and it's a good thing to have them come along with us in these processes, but we cannot allow them to drive the bus. See, if we allow fear to be front and center, when we begin asking ourselves questions about ourselves, about what we've said or done or not said or not done or not felt, then we're very likely going to find ourselves in places of inflicting guilt and shame and judgment upon ourselves. We will go down that rabbit hole of beating ourselves up because we start believing that how we are feeling is wrong. We'll start to grab and hold on to the idea that there is one normal way that we are supposed to feel, and there's no room to deviate from that. Begin the process instead by knowing that there is something much better to grab onto and to hold onto. And it is those life lessons that come along that teach us how to feel what we are feeling. We need to learn how to feel our feelings, not what we think we should be or we are supposed to feel, but what we are actually feeling. And that's the path that leads us to be the most honest, the most authentic, and the least superficial in our lives, all of which I believe to be of such paramount importance in our world today. Walking this path is really all about living our absolute truth. And sometimes we are awakened to that truth by the very people that are trying to convince us that we're wrong about what it is for us. I highly doubt that either priest that I mentioned earlier had set the intention of helping me claim the absolute truth that I did for myself as a result of their counsel and as a result of their sermon. But for a long time, over time, I was able to let go of the anger that I held for both of those individuals because I did not feel it right to paint every priest and the entire Catholic faith with one broad brushstroke. And so in doing that, that helped me to allow this process of self-examination and exploration and discernment and decisions and choices about how I want to be ongoing, and I truly hope never ending for me. You might recall that in early September, I offered a lesson that spoke to the shifting sands on a firm foundation. And I alluded to an experience that had occurred a week or two earlier in my life that felt like an earthquake had struck me. It really was something that knocked me off my center in a very significant way. And so in early October, I took time. I stepped away for a week's vacation, and I spent the week in this quaint little Airbnb space right here in town, in Overland Park. And that space, as soon as I walked into it, it became my holy chrysalis that just surrounded me and supported me as I began to unpack some really significant questions that had begun moving in me. And they included questions about my theological beliefs and my spiritual practices. They included questions about my family systems, past experiences, some dating back to when I was a little girl in my childhood that I had not seen as having been traumatic until now. There were questions about how I was viewing my physicality and my overall well-being. And so for 6 days, I sat there, and I prayed, and I wrote, and I read, and I felt, and I forgave, and I laughed, and I cried, and all of which resulted in a complete deconstruction of what I had seen my life's foundation to be, and a complete reconstruction of how I now wanted it to be. Those 6 days were the most intense I have had in a very, very long time, and I say that in a very positive way. Because in the midst of the roller coaster of emotions, in the midst of the roller coaster of the memories, in the midst of the foundational cracking and complete falling apart that was occurring, I never felt that anything I had done in my life leading up to that point had been wrong. Other people, the situations, the circumstances, the experiences that had been a part of my life up to that point had not been wrong. All of them and all of it had been right for me. And what resulted on the last day of my chrysalis experience that I just realized on Friday when I was writing this lesson, what happened on that 6th day was the emergence of what is the next iteration of my absolute truth. Feel what you feel. Allow your emotions to be legitimate. Fearlessly examine your reactions to your own life and live your absolute truth. The more you do that, the more I do that, the more people around this world that do that, the more hope and faith I have that we are going to all continue standing and gathering together and celebrating each other and celebrating that one higher presence and power that is all good at all times and never wrong. God bless you.
God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am, God is. I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
As we begin now for our time of meditation, I invite you to take a moment to relax your body into your seat, to feel yourself fully supported. If it feels comfortable to do so, drop your eyes to soften your gaze or fully close your lids. Begin to bring your awareness to the breath, noticing the gentle inhale and exhale. Without judgment, we allow the breath to flow. It is a part of our natural being. It is the breath of life. And just as the breath is a gift of God bestowed upon us and our creative expression of being here on this planet, we have been gifted with a wide array of emotions. Each one an opportunity for us to know our own selves more deeply. And just as we witness the breath, we can witness emotion without judgment. We become observers of the flow in and the flow out, of joy, excitement, exhilaration, zeal, of sadness, grief, feelings of separation, feelings of connection. We simply allow ourselves to notice, just like the breath, the emotions come and go in a flow. Breathing, noticing, observing. We allow ourselves the opportunity to presence emotions when they arise, allowing them to become a part of our meditation experience. So As we continue breathing, noticing the inflow and the exhale, we also begin to bring our awareness to any emotions that arise during this time. We give ourselves permission to accept them with love, with gratitude. For these are gifts, parts of the whole of who we are. Breathing in, breathing out, presencing the wholeness, the truth, the light, the love of who you are in its entirety, right here, right now. As we prepare to move into the silence, we allow ourselves to simply observe what arises in the beautiful, beautiful gift of silence. I am. God is. All of the expression of me is welcome, accepted, and loved. Breathing in, we inhale this truth. Breathing out, we give permission for others to be their truth. As we gently flutter our eyes open, we open them with the knowing, the truth, that we are exactly where we are meant to be. We are exactly who we are called to be, and we are prepared to stand in the truth of that being, now and always. So it is. Amen.
God is and I am. Right here, right now. Right here, right now. God is, I am.
Now, as we prepare for our offering, we bring this knowing of our truth and the truth of all of the gifts that this community have brought to us. We think on all of the ways that our gifts, our time, our talent, our treasure have created this sacred space today, this opportunity to come together in divine love and truth. As we prepare our blessings, we hold them in our hands, we hold them in our hearts. We affirm together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am joy-filled and grateful.
it's up to me. Oh, it's up to me. Don't you know that it's all up to me? Will I hide my heart, let it show? Well, it's up to me. Or will I stay put, or will I go? It's up to me. Will there be regrets on the day I die? It's up to me. Or will I spread my golden wings and fly? It's up to me, you know it's up to me. It's up to me. Yeah, don't you know that it's all up to me. Is it up to my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my doctor, my lawyer, my teacher, my preacher? It's up to me. It's up to me. But you know that it's all up to me. Oh, it's up to me. You know it's up to me. I want to say it again. It's all. Who is it up to this morning? It's up to me. Yeah. All right.
Right.
Thank you, Kelly Hunt and the band. Thank you so much. Who's it up to again?
It is totally up to you.
Totally up to me. Okay. All right. Well, then I'll continue here. Thank you, Reverend Jen, for being with us today, for a beautiful meditation and your beautiful presence. This month, our volunteer team we would like to extend our gratitude and appreciation to is our hospitality team. They're here earlier in the morning to get everything set up for us out in the cafe to have our time of connection and fellowship and refreshments. And so whoever is on the hospitality team who is here today, would you please stand so that we can just give you some love and appreciation? Absolutely. And I do hope to see many of you out there so that we can visit for a little bit after the service. And two quick reminders. Hope to see you this Wednesday night for the Thanksgiving Eve communion service that we're going to have in the sound stage again, right across the hallway here outside the sanctuary. It is not a service that we stream, and so if you would like to participate in it, please join us here. We will have ASL access available as well on Wednesday night. And then if you did want to make a donation to the Fall Faith fundraiser electronically, just see me out in the cafe. We'll have the square reader out there if you'd like to use that. And again, we thank you so much for all of the support that you offered to that gala. All right, so would you join me with me now in speaking the mission statement of this incredible community? Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. Indeed, we do. Come back next week. Reverend Jackie will be back. She's got a lesson titled, Thank God I Do. And Envy is coming back, and she's going to be with us. And my understanding is that she is making her move back from Colorado. She's going to be spending some time, I think, in Florida, where she was when we first connected with her. But she's going to be, I think, available and with us going forward. So we'll hold that and be very grateful for it. And so I'm not seeing that. I know we had a tiny little baby here this morning, so I don't know if we had kids or not. They're not? Okay. Okay, we're sending blessings to that beautiful child that's with Amy right now. And so let's stand and sing our closing song. If you would join with me in speaking together the words to our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Have a wonderful week and go Chiefs tomorrow night. Big game.